What's going on, everyone? So the big news out of Marvel is that the Fantastic Four are going to be hitting our screens in May 2025. That's right, we're finally going to get the MCU's version of the Fantastic Four. Let's hope, fingers crossed, we get the version we all deserve. Now, in my opinion, the best version or portrayal of the Fantastic Four has to be Jonathan Hickman's run in the comics from 2009 to 2012. It's in this run of comics you basically get incredible backstories and world development that is just so great with the Fantastic Four. Okay, so a little bit of a backstory on the Fantastic Four. From what I'm aware, there is four Fantastic Four movies out there, so four Fantastic Four, say four again. There are the two movies from 2005 and 2007. Now, these ones took quite a light-hearted approach on the team. We saw Chris Evans, a young Chris Evans, Captain America, as a Human Torch, and a terrible Cloud Galactus, if I'm honest, that kind of just... Ugh, ugh. No, Galactus should be Galactus. But we did get an accurate Silver Surfer. I felt like in these comics, even though they were very cheesy, they tried to portray the characters as in looks anyway to comic book accuracy. Now, prior to this film, there was a strange movie from 1992 which was not meant to be released at all. This one was only created so that the company could hold on to the rights. I don't think it never actually got released, but there are copies of this going around. Now, if anyone does have this, please let me know. I would love to watch it. I've seen little clips of it and it looks terribly good. And finally, in 2015, there was Fan4stick or Four Fantastics, Ticks 444, whatever that movie was. That didn't do great at all. Biggest flop since, well, up until Madam Web came out recently. Yeah, could have been a great movie, that one, but yeah, it didn't do too well. Now, in my opinion, if they were going to do multiversal stuff with this Kang War, Doom War, whatever's going to happen with the MCU, you could easily bring back Miles Teller's version of that guy, Mr. Fantastic as the Maker. I reckon that'd be a good way to do it. Because, oh god, there was so much potential for that movie and it just stank. Now, I first really heard of the Fantastic Four as a kid, and it was through the cartoons. There was this. So in the 90s, a cartoon ran for 2 seasons over 26 episodes. Some of the basically season 1 was very comic book accurate, whereas season 2 was a bit more given their own freedom to go for everything and experience more real world related things with the Fantastic Four. But you got some incredible characters brought up into this. You got Nova came in, you had crossovers with the Incredible Hulk cartoon happening at the time. Doom was there, Kang turns up. For a young kid who's not really read comic books, there's so many characters popping up now. When you go back and watch it, you're like, dang, they did this cartoon pretty good. Yeah, I should definitely cover that cartoon at some point. And if you get a chance, go find the 90s Fantastic Four cartoon. And it's a shame it only lasted 2 seasons because they had some great ideas for a season 3. But yeah, anyway, Fantastic Four. Who were the Fantastic Four? Well, they were Marvel's first family, made up of Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, one of the smartest men alive, Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, and Ben Grimm, the Thing. They gained their powers through an accidental experimental flight that basically there was an explosion of cosmic rays, and all 4 would develop superpowers from there. Now that is a very brief rundown of the Fantastic Four, and this is something realistically we don't really need to see in the movies. In my opinion, we know the Fantastic Four, we know where they come from. Let's do it like Spider-Man. He's already there. We just find out little bits as we go. So, back to Hickman's run in the comics and why I feel this will be the area where they should grab their stories from. Okay, so Hickman's run starts after Dark Reign, which was kind of the fallout of Secret Invasion, which ties in great now with the scrolls and everything like that. Um, Now, the story starts off with Reed himself. He's trying to solve everything. He's got this thing in his head that he must solve everything, and it is driving a wedge between his family, as well. It always happens in the Fantastic Four. Reed's too smart to realize what's going on around him in the world, and his family is suffering. At this point in the stories as well, Reed and Sue already have their two kids, Franklin and Valeria, who play important parts in these stories. Valeria, basically a kid smarter than Reed, and Franklin, well, future Franklin is probably one of the most OP characters in Marvel. But yeah, this is the run where we find Reed. He's got a portal. He has his own council of Reeds. Well, not his own council of Reeds. He's part of the council of Reeds. How many councils do you need in Marvel? You've got the councils of Doom, councils of Kang. You've also got one of Reed Richards here. Basically, the council are all trying to solve everything. However, we find out the most interesting thing is Marvel's 616 universe. Reed Richards is basically the only Reed who's still with Sue Storm, still with his family. All the other universes basically decided that to be better and smarter, they had to ditch their family. We'll just touch on that. You had so many different Reeds. You had like many different ones with Infinity Gauntlets. Somewhere Reed became the Human Torch. Somewhere I think Reed was in a relationship with Johnny Storm. There was just so many different versions of him. But all these people coming together to put their smarts together. This comic book run also hits with the death and rebirth of Johnny Storm. Johnny unfortunately dies trying to save the rest of the family in the negative zone from the Annihilation Wave. But as the story goes, sorry, spoilers, he does find his way back. Oh my god, you get Johnny Storm leading an Annihilation Wave with the Cosmic Control Rod. That is something you just need to see. And yeah, from the death of Johnny, you obviously get the fallout and how it affects the family. I mean, the family itself splits up. There's no fourth member for the Fantastic Four. Peter Parker, Spider-Man actually fills in that role for a bit, being a great friend to Johnny. It's really interesting to see Spider-Man interact with the team. You forget how smart Spider-Man is, so he can fit in there as well. You could bring Spider-Man into the MCU. Oh my god, look at that. The Fantastic Four split up for a little bit, but you'd end up getting the foundation or formation of the Future Foundation, which become quite an important part of this series as well, which is basically the youngest minds, smartest minds brought together, basically to solve problems. And this is where Valeria comes into her own. Now, just going off topic, but still part of that story arc, one of my favourite moments from Jonathan Hickman's comics is basically Galactus turns up to Earth. He wants to have a chat with Reed Richards. So Galactus, just worldly entity, godly entity, just turns up and just finds Reed and just says, speak. This is a guy who could easily destroy universes, and he respects Reed down to a level that he would just come straight to his planet to hear what's going on. Now, of course, this story ends with one of the greatest battles I think I've seen in the comics, where the Mad Celestials are coming to take over Earth, and Franklin Richards from the future comes back to the past, takes the power from the young Franklin, battles the Celestials, makes Galactus his herald, so the person who makes heralds out of everyone, into his own herald, and they take on the Celestials. Again, something you could do if they're bringing Galactus in as a villain, and you've got the Celestials from the Eternals movies. This could be an amazing fight. I don't know how they would do it to portray how powerful everyone was, but again, just blew my mind when this happened in the comics. So yeah, there are many stories you could take for Fantastic Four. Personally, I think Hickman's run, again, had so many great ones there, but if you're looking to slowly build them up again, I guess you could do their origin, but God, we've done enough origin stories, and what do we phase 5, phase 6 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe now? Do we really need more origin stories? Especially with a family who's supposed to be around for so long. But I feel like it could be amazing bringing these in, dropping with such a big story. Could be exactly what the MCU needs at the moment. If honest, the last few movies haven't been as amazing or as much of a draw as the the first few were, or leading up to Infinity War. But again, we were going through COVIDs and everything, so everyone was more interested in this sort of stuff. So you never know. Personally, I am actually pretty excited to see the Fantastic Four movie. Really interested to see how they go. I would love to see everything getting back on board. The last time I was this excited for movies was Multiverse of Madness. Love me some Doctor Strange and Thor, although Thor kind of hit a bit flat, which, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't a full movie. And Spider-Man, Spider-Man's always been great. The hype around seeing 3 Spider-Man in one movie, that was good enough for me. So let's see what they can do with the Fantastic Four, and hopefully Marvel gets back on track. But I mean, let's be honest, the MCU will never die, and even when they do a flop of a movie, they still make enough money to justify making some more. So if they wanted to go comic book accurate, they can. If they wanted to go their own line, like they did with the Ant-Mans, they can. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Alright, thank you for listening to me. I'm going to go try find that Fantastic Four cartoon somewhere and binge watch that. Cheers.